Good morning, everybody. I'm at Parcaut here, Bobby Atkins, and we are the Veterans Edition of Real Estate Jerky. How's it going, Bobby?
Good, man. It's been a busy weekend, so I'm pretty tired. How about you?
Yeah, you do above and beyond for our veterans, and I appreciate that. So
Likewise.
definitely, I'll be putting your review in. That I can some good content to put in. You follow me? Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay.
Because when you ask me, it's like, okay, well, I don't have now. I can say what you've done for recently for two of our clients without even asking. But when there's just not a lot of inventory out there. There's inventory, but just not a ton of it. And when we've got a couple of veterans who have a price point that's pretty hard. I mean, the first one, I'm surprised you found something.
Yeah, that was a miracle.
Yeah, well, it also helped that we could close it, and we could have closed it in 8 days.
Yeah,
but we have to wait and close it in all of 15 days because they're not here yet.
Yeah, it still surprises me when people, when there's seasoned agents, they're like, no, there's no way you can get that done.
Yeah, well, we did, so I don't want to hear it. Sorry if you hear noise. I've been trying to get rid of that noise, and it keeps coming back. I tell it, don't make any noise, and it's still making noise.
Yeah, good luck.
No notifications, still giving me notifications.
Yeah, that's technology, man.
Yeah,
that's like I go through in my settings, to not do the automatic updates, and it never fails. I'm like in the middle of writing a contract, and it shuts down.
Well, you should do it in automatic updates at night.
Yeah,
or whatever. Set it up. Mine are always on, so. Low flying airplanes today, they must be checking the altitude or the content that's in the ozone or something. Who knows?
Yeah.
All right, where are we at today? All right, so we're talking about veterans. We're talking about things that happened. And one of the questions you asked me, I think over the weekend, was the VA have a flip rule?
Yeah.
No, the VA doesn't have a flip rule. However, the underwriter could go, this is ridiculous. Meaning that if it's, if it's not worth the flip, you follow me? They could, but I haven't seen that happen. But FHA has a total flip rule, meaning you got to be on the property for 90 days, period, or two. I think they still do the 2 appraisals, but it's just better to wait extra 30 days,
Yeah.
But for VA, there isn't one, and conventional doesn't have one.
Yeah. Yeah. And that was, I was showing a property yesterday that was right there in that first time home buyer range, right? It's like right at 455, has a pool.
Wow.
Recently flipped. And so that's why I wanted to just check with you, because I was like, I know for certain FHA is a hard no on 90 days,
Can't get around it.
Yeah. And that house honestly would have been gone by now if it was FHA available.
Right. And then it's in the price point that a lot of conventionals aren't either. Meaning that people, FHA is a strict no. And then I think a lot of people think, it's a flip. You can't, you got to do cash. No, it doesn't mean that at all. Yeah. But I verified because, these are things I have a flip rule that hasn't come up in, a year or so. These are, and that's the thing is we try to stay up to date, but I never answer yes until I go research it because things change a lot.
Yeah.
I mean, there's so many things that are changing. I get free credit reports now, and when I get into thing, and it just so much better. There's certain things that just constantly change for the better, and then some of the stuff for the worse. But VA is so much better.
Yeah. Well, and I always caution my buyers on a flip, because there's some people out there that can do.
They put lipstick on a pig and don't.
Yeah, I can say majority of the flips are not very good, and it just makes me nervous.
Unless you know who did the flip and who they are and that kind of stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. So, I mean, since I've done lots of remodels, I'll look at the details because you can tell it's all in the details. If someone does a crummy job doing caulking or grout lines and tile settings, things like that, they didn't know what they were doing. So,
well, yes. And also, if they look at the trim, the baseboard, is it together? Is it done perfectly? Is it done? Is there gaps in it that they filled in with caulking because they didn't? That tells you they don't know what they're doing. Yeah, just little things. I remember my wife looked at one that was a flip, and she's like, "Look at the difference in." I think it was on air. It was on a HGTV. They're flipping a property.
Oh yeah,
zombie flippers out of wherever zombie,
gosh,
and you're like, "Look at that horrible." She's like, "Look at the horrible job on the baseboards."
Yeah,
if the attention to detail is the most important thing.
Yeah.
Don't care what you do, but if you don't do the fine stuff, then people are going to complain.
Yeah. Well, all right. And, they'll walk in at first and say, hey, this looks great. And then you get in contract and inspections come back and they're like, this is wrong. And, I mean, luxury vinyl plank is in every flip now. And so we'll see how that stuff holds up.
Well, actually, I mean, if there's many different levels of it, So the question is, which level did they put in? Did
Yeah.
they put the commercial grade that looks amazing, but it will take everything, or did they do the cheapest one? Because it's price point. But go over there, check it out. Yeah, but I mean, it looks really good. The good stuff.
Yeah,
looks just like wood, and it's hard to tell.
Yeah, I can say a big difference in between. If you have a slab foundation too. If they glue it down.
Is that good or bad?
That's good.
Okay.
That's the ideal way to do it, because when you allow it to float, I actually just saw this on a rental recently. They had some LVP down, and
for people who don't know what LVP means,
luxury vinyl plank.
Thank you.
But actually, because all the rain, the slab has been moving, and so the floor is buckling.
Wow.
Yeah.
So they didn't put a layer to keep that out, right?
Because there must not be a moisture barrier under there.
Yeah, because I mean, but what was the floating wood ones that popped in? I forget what it was called.
Oh yeah, the laminate floor.
Yeah, you walk out, click, 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 click.
Yeah,
it's horrible.
Yeah.
We put in scraped hickory at one of our places, and the one thing that was nice about that is you dropped a can on it, and you just, where's that black marker?
Yeah,
it looks just like the regular floor.
Yeah,
but you can't sand it. You can't do anything because you'll take out all the scrape that they're supposed to be. Yeah, that's supposed to be there.
Yeah. There in my house, the people who had owned it before, they put in a knotty pine floor in the kitchen, which was not a good idea.
No, wood in the kitchen is not a good idea.
Wood in the kitchen, and it's just soft, right? So everything that dropped on it damaged it. Yeah, I eventually ripped it out and put tile in.
Yeah, no, that's good.
Yeah,
gave you something to do.
Yeah, always looking for something.
All right, so we talked about VA, no flip rule. The one thing I also want to talk about, because one of the offers that we wrote, they were like, what's the short form? I don't want to understand it. MP-33 something, right?
Yeah, NPMA.
Yeah. Well, and what's nice about it is she's like, well, what about the regular pest report? And do they have to? I'm like, okay, yes, but the short form is an actual pest report. It just checks the box that says there's no active pest.
Yeah.
So it's two of them's done, but the one that we need and Best Pest in Modesto and up in the foothills do with them.
Yeah.
So we use them a lot up in the foothills.
And this conversation's actually come up a couple times in the last week in my office. And I've been telling, like every agent that I have a chance to talk to, I'm like, hey, for your vets, I know this market's getting hot again, or it's going to start getting hot,
I don't know if it's going to get super hot.
Well, you got the dream for some coming up, right? And just
right, but that's a lottery.
I know, but it's just still going to.
It's not like it was before. It's going to be slower.
Yeah, well, that's good, man.
Because it's only the people who've never owned a home before and their family technically who've never owned a home before. I said technically because who's going to research that?
Yeah. Anyway, it's going to be harder to get vets into homes again. So having that in our back pocket, letting people know about it is going to help our fellow vets. So
you should just do it on every transaction, whether or not there's pests. And again, vets can pay for the pest report.
Yeah.
Period. And I just need to know on the contract who's paying for it. So anytime you do a VA, we always have to put in on the loan estimate a pest, because it's by not law, but by the VA guidelines, it has to have a pest report.
Yeah.
So we have to have the cost on there. We need to know who's paying it. Okay. If it's if the buyer, no big deal. We know that. Put it on the contract. If the seller, then actually state that on the contract.
Yeah. And
seller to pay for a clear pest or to pay for a pest report. You follow me?
Yeah. Now, if you're listening to this, you're a first time buyer and you're a veteran, don't worry, it's not much. It's like $125.
Yeah, it can be max. I think I've seen 175. It's not that much.
Yeah.
But what I'm getting at, the whole purpose for me is, and on the lending side, when we have to disclose it, if we miss it, we eat it.
Gotcha. Okay. Yeah. So you don't want to pay the $125 again,
whatever that number is. Yeah. Because then we have to, it needs to be on there. But if it's not told to us and it's not on the contract, we still have to put it on there like the buyer's paying it. But if we know the seller's paying it, then we just have to, and that was with this last one. I had to get an invoice, even though we're not touching it, not paying it, but we had to prove that the veterans didn't pay for it.
Yeah. Gotcha.
And it's just one of those guideline things when you're going through the stuff that we have to deal with and you guys don't.
Yeah.
Oh, I forgot to do a survey. No big deal. Here you go. Here's your bill.
Yeah.
Doesn't work that way on my side. If it's not, and people understand, if we don't disclose it right, we have to cancel that and start all over.
Oh, really?
Yes. There are some fees that can't change. There's some fees that can go by 10%. The fees that the borrower pays for or chose, like if they choose escrow and title, then it doesn't matter if it's disclosed properly. They can, I mean, it should be, but I'm just saying it doesn't come into play. If they didn't have the choice, then that's when that stuff comes into play.
Gotcha. Yeah, I was gonna say, people always ask me like loan questions. I'm like, you know what? There's enough going on the purchase side or listing side with real estate. I was like, I'm just gonna refer you back to the loan officer.
Yeah, they're just
Yeah.
too much, even for us to stay on constantly. So that's
Yeah.
why we have to look and verify
Yeah,
what the numbers are.
that'd be like them calling, you as their loan officer and be like, hey, what should I write this offer for?
Well, I can tell
You
them
know?
that. That's a little different.
Like I say, but you don't have the relationships with the agents, and right.
Well, I don't know what I haven't talked to the listing agent. I don't
Yeah.
know what's going on. I have no idea. And I always tell them, well, whatever your agent tells you
Yeah.
is what you should write the thing for, because they know what's going on. I don't.
Yeah, and like for instance, I was showing a property over the weekend. And one of our clients asked me what the cost would be like monthly, and I said, you know what? I'd hate to even misquote you. I'm gonna just have you talk to Ed.
Yeah. Well, I was telling somebody else like 575,000 was 4,500 a month in a house payment.
Yeah.
You're like,
Yeah.
Yeah. Shocking.
Hey, the good thing is hopefully rates will eventually go down and make that payment a little bit lighter, right?
Right. And then you can do an Earl with the VA ones. That's the little refinance. You don't have to have a job. You don't put any job on there, anything. You just put your name, and it's real easy to do. You'll do it multiple times. And it's so easy to do that you get bombarded by so many. Hey, you should refinance. Hey, you should refinance. I haven't seen a lot lately, but usually they hit up.
Yeah, it's kind of hard to, convince people to refinance into a higher rate, right?
No, because I've had some people call me FHA and stuff from a couple of years ago, and they're getting them.
Really?
I just think it's when it was done. Yeah. So, because a lot of them are looking to get cash out or do something else.
Gotcha.
Yeah. I mean, what are you going to do?
Yeah.
All right. You're right. And rates will come down. The biggest issue I'm seeing right now, though, is, and I talked about this earlier, is our insurance is so much higher, even here for non-fire areas.
Yeah.
What normally would be maybe $65 a month is now $85 to $90 a month to $100 a month, depending on where it's at.
Yeah.
So you just have to look at that and understand that it could be a little bit more expensive. So I'm going to start quoting higher on insurance from now on.
Yeah, I can say I haven't seen an insurance quote for the foothills in a while. So.
I'm not talking foothills. Those up there, that's 250 plus. I quote.
Oh, okay.
Down here though,
okay.
I'm just saying should quote about $100 a month just to be safe, because you never know. Somebody else was saying that their insurance went from $900 a month to $1,900 a month. Oh, no, a year. Thank you.
Yeah.
Sorry. So many monthly things.
Yeah.
So anyway, moral of the story, don't wait. Get into contract. If you're a veteran thinking about buying a home, reach out to us and we'll get you going. It is much cheaper for you than it is somebody else, because you don't have the actual mortgage insurance on a monthly basis.
Yeah.
Safety.
And if you're 10% disabled, then there's no funding fee, right?
Correct.
Yeah.
At least 10%. Yeah. And if you're 100% disabled, you get a discount on your actual property taxes.
Now, have you ever seen someone that's 11% disabled?
No.
No.
Have you?
No, I was going to say, I just don't know. Does it work?
I don't see that. I only see on their certificate eligibility that says they get this amount of money per month.
Okay.
It doesn't say they're this rating. It doesn't say that.
Okay.
No, I'm just saying at least 10. So, 10 is above.
Yeah.
10, you get it just complaining enough.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I wish I would have thought about had ringing in my ears.
Well, and 10% can save you what we'll say on average, like 15,000?
Well, it's 2.15 first time use of your loan amount. So let's just say 2%. So 10 grand plus.
Yeah.
That's added to the loan amount. That's what you save.
So
yeah,
worth trying for it.
Very much so. Then when you refinance, also it's not there. The 0.5%'s not there.
Yeah.
So it's just cheaper all around.
Cool.
And it's easy to get a rating. So if you haven't got your rating, go get it.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Make it a great day. Thanks for being here, Bobby. Thank you for being here, and thank you for what you're doing.
Thanks, Ed. Thank you as well.
All right. Make it a great